This is Majo John Madden, and I'm wanting to offer a meditation on Woody Guthrie's song, "This Land Is Your Land," on the 4th of July. There was an incredibly thoughtful and powerful piece on National Public Radio's All Things Considered show about Woody Guthrie and about that song. One of the things they said was that Woody saw it as the counterpoint to Kate Smith's "God Bless America," which rocked the airwaves for a long time, certainly through my youth, given that I'm in my 70s now. And Woody just couldn't subscribe to that incredibly upbeat, and he called it jingoistic, celebration of America, because he had traveled America and had seen all the poor people suffering in the Dust Bowl, all the ways that the goods of the country were not being evenly shared. We celebrate that song and everybody learned to sing it, but Woody Guthrie and his musical partner Pete Seeger, who carried that song forward, were blacklisted from the airwaves for a long time for being considered communists, which they literally were not. I've followed a similar path, not for my whole life and not from as extensive travel, but for the last 3 years I've been on the road and have, like Woody Guthrie, seen again and again and again how badly a job we do in America at sharing the fruits of this wonderful country. My first year of travel was in what I call Deep Appalachia, or what people up there call the high mountains of western North Carolina, dealing with real Appalachian folks, discovering how great they were, and discovering again and again and again what I called the ongoing rape of Appalachia, the way affluent people from all over the Southeast are buying up every possible plot of land they can get their hands on and making the land unaffordable for the people who so much value their history and their family and their roots in the land. I got to see the way people putting up these incredible vacation homes that they often use only for maybe even a couple of weeks or a couple of months a year, on steep slopes that created runoff that poisons the rivers. Saw the factory farming going on even out there that similarly poisons the land and the water. Then I traveled from there, and I got to hear all the white fragility in my son's hometown, Louisville, Kentucky, when I went there to, besides reaching out to my son, to try to do whatever I could about the Breonna Taylor murder, and got to see how widespread in Louisville was that white fragility, that paranoid fear that black people will just hurt you because they're so mad at you. Well, they're mad. They're mad. And whereas in western North Carolina, I saw the big block to progress as being the fundamentalist Christians and the right-wing and Fox News that dominates the airwaves there. In Louisville, it was definitely the old South, the old money, the old power, the old families. In Texas, home to, I think, more per capita billionaires than any other state in the country, I saw the shocking poverty. Right around the same time that some Texas news medium put out an article about how Corpus Christi, the riverfront, the ocean front, the Corpus Christi Bay area is really such a live, jumping place, and it is a gorgeous ocean front there on the bay. But 5 blocks behind that, shocking poverty. I had not encountered people living in such terrible conditions. White, Latino, and black. And got told by a spiritual guy to stay away from it because it's so dangerous. And my data, gathered in lots of different ways, was that it was just poor. That continued all through Texas. Unbelievable poverty in that state. And certainly Latinos especially targeted. And now I'm in Mexico. So these beautiful fields you're looking at are not in the U.S. They're in central Mexico. My falling in love process with Latino people started about 30 years ago when I provided refuge to a Guatemalan family that were a sanctuary family. They were on the run from the right-wing dictatorship that was massacring indigenous people on our dime with huge support from the U.S. because we were so afraid of the communists. Right before Cinco de Mayo, I heard a wonderful program on NPR's Throughline show about the history of Cinco de Mayo and how Porfirio Diaz, a very ambitious dictator of Mexico, brought Mexico into the modern age by partnering with the same robber barons from the U.S. that enshrined money and goods with the wealthy down to Mexico to modernize and commercialize, get industry going down there. And ironically, that process disenfranchised and took land away from so many peasants and indigenous people that it set up the dynamic we see still today of Latinos looking north for some kind of hope, some kind of chance to make a living. I spent a lot of time around the Texas-Mexico border, and especially in Brownsville and Matamoros on the Mexico side. I walked across several times before I ever drove across and got to see the hundreds of people queued up at the border. Poor, sad, beautiful, lovely people just trying to get across and being held off by our restrictive policies. You know, I wish I could shut the dogs up, but maybe it's a good background sound. Dogs are disenfranchised in Mexico. They don't get a lot of respect. So I cried a lot after that show. My favorite version of This Land Is Your Land is Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings. I discovered that up in Appalachia. And it's a real black-infused and kind of high-attitude version of the song. I'm hoping that celebrations in the U.S. will be very much tinged with how potently the right wing is reasserting its power in the U.S. and a very serious concern about Supreme Court justices. You know, we thought we had such a big breakthrough at the George Floyd and Breonna Taylor period. I gotta finish this. Give me a second, please. No, I can't. Oh, gracias. Oh, buenos dias. Gracias. She found my mug. Yeah, it looked like we were going to make huge headway. And now we've got the Supreme Court saying we shouldn't even look at the issue. At the same time that state government after state government is saying we can't teach about the issue. I'm still saying we. I may never cross back north again, and at this point I'm not having a lot of motivation to. I love Mexican people, and I love the way the children have never been taught to fear strangers down here. It's different. It's different. Okay.